This is BBC Two. And now a party election broadcast by the Labour Party for the English local elections.
What would you say to the young people present in this room to really convince them that they need to vote?
What is the difference between your policies and the Conservatives?
There seems to be a lot of crime in the communities now, and a lot of it seems to be drug related.
The police were telling me the other day when I was talking to some police officers in one of our communities, 2/3 of the people they charge test positive for drugs. For the first time, the courts have got the power to say to somebody, look, you're going to go inside unless you get drug treatment. If you were to ask anybody, the single biggest problem they have, and it goes right the way throughout the system, is antisocial behaviour. You know, if you talk to National Health Service staff, what do they, as much as anything else, it's the abuse they get from people. If you talk to teachers, what is the biggest problem they have within the classroom? Discipline. What is that makes people want to go out of teaching? Because they came in to teach and find their sort of police officers within their classroom. I think, you know, there's some deep-seated causes of this, but there are also some things that we can do. We have a duty as a society to give you a chance in life, but you have a duty to give respect back to the society in which you live. And it's certainly at the heart of this whole issue of crime, you know, is the sense of duty towards each other.
Are you paying the nurses and doctors? Are you paying the bureaucrats? Are you not just going to pay a lot more people shuffling paper?
Well, I mean, it's a good point. I mean, the first is that, as well as everything else that we're doing, we're also going to have an independent system of auditing where the money goes to in the health service. Every year, fully independent from government, a body will report to Parliament saying, this is the money that was spent, that's what it got. It's absolutely vital that we make sure that the money we're putting in is properly used, and you need some management for that. You know, I think sometimes we forget that the actual basis of it is brilliant. I mean, in how many countries in the world can you be sure that no matter how ill you are, or no matter how poor you are, you're going to get properly looked after? Now, I know there are problems in the health service of access and waiting and all the rest of it, and that's because there's undercapacity. We don't have enough doctors, nurses, hospital buildings and so on. You've got to build that over time. But I think most people, once they're in the health service system, the care and the dedication of the staff's brilliant.
Yes.
And, you know, we should sometimes we should take a bit more pride in it, I think, than knock it.
I do believe the parties are very similar. Not Ig, Duncan, his name, I forget it.
That's a good start.
Yeah, that's the problem with the Tory party. Do you think it's good for the country?
I cannot understand how anyone can say there's no difference between Labour and Conservative after a budget in which we made a vast investment in the National Health Service, to which the Conservatives are completely and totally opposed, and want to push us into a system that is the American system that will mean large numbers of people don't get any health care cover at all. And it's a, you know, when I look at the decisions that we've taken over the past few years, the Bank of England independence that gave us the new system of economic management, which they opposed, the minimum wage, which they opposed, the New Deal for the young people, which they opposed, these measures on crime at the moment, which they're opposing, the investment in education, which they opposed, the investment in the National Health Service, which they opposed, is, to me, unbelievable for people to say there's no difference.
How, as a first-time voter, would you encourage me to go out and vote in the up-and-coming local elections?
The election matters because it will determine who runs these services locally, and if the people with the right values are running them, then there'll be people who will be looking after their local communities, committed to their local communities. If we have people running those local services who aren't committed to them and actually haven't supported the investment going into our local communities, then, you know, the communities themselves will go backwards. So I think these elections are important. I really hope people come out and vote on Thursday. It's a great democratic right that we've got. It matters, the local services matter, the local people matter, and if they matter, the vote matters. All that people ever hear of you is snatches of 20 seconds, so that's why it's good to come and do a meeting like this. Thank you.
For stronger communities and safer streets, vote Labour on May the 2nd. If you have a question or want to join the Labour Party, call us now on 08705 900 200. That's 08705 900 200 now.
That was a party election broadcast by the Labour Party for the English local elections.